Good evening and thank you for joining us. Families who depend on the Sleeping Giant Child Care Center have been left scrambling this week after the facility's sudden closure yesterday.
Parents received notice on Saturday that the daycare was being temporarily shut down due to funding issues as it transitions from a for-profit to a non-profit facility. Mitchell Ringos has the details.
Families received this email on Saturday stating a temporary closure of the Sleeping Giant Child Care Center with no timeline for reopening. Owner Drea Mulligan says the closure was due to a lack of funding that was supposed to come in by January 1st as part of Ontario's $10 per day child care plan. Mulligan says this came as a shock and since then has been in constant contact with the around 60 families relying on the service and the 20 full-time and supply staff that had to be laid off.
It's very surprising that we were put in the position to have to make that hard decision, an impossible decision. And you know, my focus Saturday morning was just focusing on our staff and making them aware. They had no idea this was coming. You know, I've reached out to them and just tried to update them. I've given them a one solid update and just giving them time to digest and process. Moving from my staff, the priority were the families.
We did talk to one parent affected by the closure who did not want to be identified. However, they did say this has had massive impacts on their family, saying the other daycares in town are fully booked up, meaning they have to take time off work while they search for other options. Now, he did say the service offered here at this daycare is top-notch and is hoping it can open as soon as possible. So that's exactly what we asked Mulligan, who says they are meeting with the DSAB today to go over their options.
So what I'm really hoping today is to get a timeline. We are going to present some other solutions. And again, going back to that team building, talking with the parents and communicating with them, you know, has brought up some other ideas for solutions. So I'm going to present them and hopefully we can come to some sort of agreement that at least can carry us or allow us to reopen even before that funding comes in.
Since then, the DSAB has released a statement saying they did not have any part in the closure and that no agreements are in place at this time with Sleeping Giant as a nonprofit provider, stating they are currently licensed as a for-profit child care center, and if they chose to reopen tomorrow, the existing funding agreements would continue business as usual. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
It's a busy time for Thunder Bay City councillors. They're meeting tonight to get a full overview of the 2023 budget from city staff. This after another meeting last night during which they approved more than $670,000 to cover additional costs for the Balmoral Street reconstruction project. Vasilios Bellows reports.
Thunder Bay's City Council got together on Monday night with another discussion surrounding the major reconstruction of Balmoral Street. They were asked to approve over $670,000 in additional funding for the project, which led to a very brief discussion before a unanimous vote in favor. It brings the total cost of the project to $8.97 million. That's still well below the city's initial estimates of $10 million. This approved funding will cover significant additional electrical work, mainly at the Central Avenue and Balmoral Street intersection, along with other additions including tree planting and storm and drainage work. This work is the final phase of the project that began in 2016, originally starting at William Street and progressing north. The project in its entirety was meant to take 3 years, but has faced various delays during that time. Thunder Bay City Council won't have to wait long before getting together again, with the first official budget meeting of the season happening Tuesday night. It'll feature a long-term financial overview presentation, with the budget currently coming with a projected 6.2% tax levy increase. Vasilios Bellows, TBT News.
The Pool 6 property on Thunder Bay's waterfront became a busy place during last year's successful cruise ship season. High-profile projects like the new art gallery and a Science North facility are planned there as well. But with so many questions about what Pool 6 will look like as it develops, the CEDC is asking an outside group to carry out a best use study to help shape future decisions. Jonathan Wilson reports.
The Pool 6 site certainly has a lot of potential for future uses. The wildly successful 2022 cruise ship season showed the tourism benefits, with other exciting projects like the future art gallery and science center looking to be constructed there as well. With so much to consider at Pool 6 beyond even these projects, the CEDC has decided to carry out an independent study into the best possible uses for the site, with the tender expected to be awarded at the end of this month. CEO Jamie Taylor explains why it's important to have an outside group take on the study.
We do know that there will be some future planning for those lands, and it's really an opportunity for us to create an independent review and provide some independent advice that is non-biased and really factually based about economic opportunities down there. So it's really about providing an advisory piece of information that can be used to inform future decision making.
The price tag is set at up to $100,000, with the study expected to be completed in mid-June. While Taylor says it's unclear what the study will reveal, future projects need to work well with other waterfront developments.
We would expect that there be some opportunities that complement what's already down there, whether or not that includes further hotel development or further even residential development. But we do know that we want to have the most impact. We want to be able to support entrepreneurs. We want to be able to support increased tax base. We want to contribute to economic development in the community.
Already at Pool 6 is the Alexander Henry Museum ship and the other exhibits hosted by the Lakehead Transportation Museum Society. LTMS officials say they've been assured that they will be consulted as part of the best use study. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police are looking into artificial intelligence software to help with sudden death and other violent crime investigations. But first, they're asking for public input. An anonymous online survey has been launched for the community to provide insight or concerns. The AI software is called BriefCam. It costs about $30,000 a year and is used to scan surveillance footage to search for specific characteristics or descriptions like the color of someone's shirt or vehicle. It then creates a compressed video showing only when those traits appeared on the screen. The software also uses facial recognition. Technology Director Chris Adams recognizes the privacy concerns that some may have about that. He insists that feature would only be used in the most serious cases.
In cases where you had a really imminent threat to a person, say a very critical missing person case or an abduction, for example, that's where you may want to explore facial recognition. For most of the investigations, this will, of course, really come down to being able to narrow that timeline down. But it's no substitute either for going back to the original video.
The public survey is currently open on the Police Services website, but the decision to implement AI usage policies will fall to the Police Board, which is expected to discuss the technology in the coming months.
Thunder Bay Police have arrested a local man who they believe is responsible for breaking and entering at 6 businesses in the city between December 23rd and January 4th. The 30-year-old was apprehended last Wednesday shortly after the latest incident on Pearl Street. Police say in all he stole about $10,000 worth of merchandise and caused several thousands of dollars of damage to the 6 businesses. The accused has been remanded into custody.
The month of January is designated as Crime Stoppers Month. It's a time to highlight the group's successes and thank the many sponsors. Today, the Crime Stoppers flag was raised at City Hall. The event was attended by Mayor Ken Boshkoff, Acting Police Chief Dan Taddeo, and OPP Superintendent Brian McKillop. Crime Stoppers District Chair Sholade Nicole says Crime Stoppers bases itself on the belief that someone out there always has information that can be shared anonymously to help solve or prevent crime. The local Crime Stoppers branch has helped police make more than 3,000 arrests and get millions of dollars of illegal drugs off the street. Nicole says Crime Stoppers Month is about encouraging the community to stand up and stand together.
It's to provide that information so that people will know that Crime Stopper still exists and law enforcement cannot do everything alone. We as community and the media as a whole has a significant role to play. So that's why January was sort of identified as the month for Crime Stoppers, not nationally but internationally as well.
Raising a flag for Crime Stoppers is kind of the community's way of saying we're all standing together and that we're all working together, and the combined police forces that were here, the community organizations, it really does, I think, give us that energized strength of knowing that we're standing together.
The flag will fly in front of City Hall until the end of January.
The emphasis on health and safety has been paying off at the local Resolute sawmill. The operation has just reached 750,000 consecutive hours without a recordable injury. And today, the staff celebrated the milestone by donating $10,000 to George Jeffreys Children's Foundation. A ceremony was held at the sawmill this morning where members of the Health and Safety Committee congratulated staff on their efforts to maintain a safe working environment. The $10,000 reward is part of a Resolute's incentive program, which gives donations to local charities whenever major milestones are reached. Sawmill staff voted for George Jeffreys as the recipient this time around, so the organization can continue helping children in the community. Health and Safety Supervisor Alex Viant says workplace safety must continue to be their #1 focus.
It really takes a team effort to make sure that we're going into each task, making sure that we identified all the hazards in the workplace, that we have preventative controls in place to make sure that nobody gets hurt before they go in and do their job. This time our workers chose the George Jeffrey Foundation as they recognize the hard work and the fantastic job they do at that foundation to give back to the community.
We serve children and families that have a wide range of developmental needs. Our primary services are speech-language pathology, occupational therapy, physiotherapy. We're very excited, actually, and the amount that is coming to our charity and our center was incredible. $10,000 was an amount that we just weren't expecting.
That's 750,000 hours of injury-free operations at the sawmill works out to around 17 months without a single recordable injury.
Well, quite an accomplishment for the employees there. Well, Mitch, turning to weather now, it's still mild. It's kind of like Groundhog Day out there.
It is very mild, but there are some conditions you're going to want to watch out for heading in tonight. Saw much of the region seeing it earlier today, and that's going to be some freezing fog and snow. But today, it was fairly cold. The temperatures were warm up to -5, feeling like -11 in the morning. Warmed up a little bit to -3 throughout the day, but the wind chill just felt colder outside today. The wind up to around 20 kilometers an hour from the east-northeast, mainly cloudy also, and that freezing rain is to come. But it was first seen out west in the region. They also saw plenty of fog throughout the day with some snow, freezing rain, making driving conditions not the best. Temperatures fairly warm, though, down to -3, -1 in Fort Frances right now. So far, that storm system has passed, heading farther east to around Atikokan and Upsala, sticking in the northwest just a little bit, seeing a little bit more conditions. That's expected to head out into tonight. Their temperature down to -4. Pickle Lake a little colder at -9. Now, it's even colder in Armstrong heading over to Greenstone at -11. Seeing some clouds at the moment, just like most of the day, but that storm system is going to start pushing farther east the later we get into the night, and by around 1 in the morning, it's going to head to Sault Ste. Marie. Their temperature sitting at -6, currently seeing plenty of clouds. Now, tonight in Thunder Bay, we're not out of the storm as well. It's going to head into Thunder Bay. Temperatures still fairly warm, -3 tonight. That is way above the temperatures we're used to seeing, feeling like -6. Now, the wind is going to pick up from the east-southeast, and like we were saying, that storm system starting to head into the area, freezing drizzle to some light snow overnight, and that is going to affect driving conditions heading into the morning, so that is something you're going to watch out for. And as for the storm system, it could stick around just a little bit longer, and we'll have more on that in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mitch. Well, the meeting of the Three Amigos, as they're called, that is the leaders of Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, their summit got underway in earnest today. We'll tell you all about that as your news hour continues.
Capacity to work together has brought us to places of extraordinary success.